It's a beautiful new sunny day.
You ain't so tough with that bad boy tuck. I'ma get it how I'm living, I'ma walk the walk. Outline my lines, I rap through thought.
What's poppin' you? How's it going? Welcome back to Football Therapy with me, your host, Jan. I do hope you're doing well. I really do hope that Chelsea aren't just in the top 5. They're in the top 4. That's right. It's tighter than a gnat's buttocks there, but our destiny is in our hands. We've got one more game, and should we win it, we will, I think, remain in the top 4, let alone the top 5. Which is lovely. You must say that's lovely. There's plenty to talk about in today's video. We're going to look at the run-in OPTA statistics. We're going to talk about a little bit about transfers, maybe, or at least one or two. Definitely doffed our cap to Cucurella. Talk about the new kit. Of course, there was the official announcement. It looks good. I've already reacted to the leaks, but I want to speak a bit more. And also on Damac. Could Damac stay on with Chelsea as the main front of shirt sponsor? Of course, they've been doing a lot of work with their launches in Dubai and indeed, stuff in London. And to reference Ben Jacobs, it could be an option sur la table, on the table. So thanks for joining me, guys. I hope you're doing well. If you are, please drop a like on the video. I'd really appreciate that. And as always, if you find yourself coming back here and you're yet to subscribe, why not just subscribe, mate? Hit the subscribe button, maybe turn on the bell, So we had a wonderful win yesterday at home against Manchester United, who rather frustratingly were tryharding with their strongest team. I have done a match reaction to that game, and please do go seek it out if you're interested in my match review, in which I'm very happy and excited, as you would imagine. So do go seek that out. I do think it was our most important win of the season. And yes, Man United have been poor, but they were there to spoil the party. We are the, again, youngest team in the league, inexperienced, at home, feeling the pressure in an all-or-nothing game. And we came through. Largely through Cucurella and the captain. And you know what? I do want to start on Cucurella. I do. Because I did see this in social media somewhere. He was one of the most hated Chelsea players. And I'm going to say, hated's cruel, but maybe not hated. Maybe divisive. Because obviously he was that Graham Potter, Brighton, what are we doing, buying everyone from Brighton. And we spent a lot of money on him. Lest we forget, we spent 62 million big boys. Because he was supposed to be a left centre-back and a free, a left-back, a left wing-back, perfect for Graham Potter's system. And that's why he costs so much money. And I think maybe because of the convoluted narrative with Brighton and the abject failure of that season, he sort of maybe was caught in the crossfire. He's actually dealt with a lot of personal stuff as well, which was on that Amazon documentary. And of course, he's a little bit of a theatre villain, where everyone boos him and, he's a bit of a... and that's good, by the way, and you want that in your team. I never think slagged him off per se, but hand on heart, I definitely reflected on Cucurella as a mistake. I think if you go back 2 years on the channel, I've definitely gone, yeah, we shouldn't have signed Cucurella. 62 million. I don't think I've ever said he was a bad player, but I definitely reflected on his purchase at some point as a mistake for 62 million. And he's the best right now left back in the league. Don't at me. He is. He's the best left back in the league. Maybe the turning point is when he won the European Championship. Sadly, against England. Poor me. But yeah, he's a champion. He's excellent. He's 26. So he's not even 28, 29. He's 26. He's in his prime. He's entering his prime. He's tenacious. He's a bit of a knob, which is great. Feels very Chelsea. We need a bit of that. He's one of our more senior players in this sea of children. And you know what? 62 million? Good value. Not bargain, because it's 62 million quid, But yeah, good. Very good. Great. I think he deserves his flowers. He won Chelsea's Player of the Match yesterday. I know Caicedo won Sky Sports Player of the Match. Caicedo was immense as well. And so was Reece James, really, ultimately. So yes, I just wanted to start and reflect on Cucurella, because I don't know if I do that enough. I mean, I've probably been speaking about him playing very well. Of course, he's scoring a lot of goals. But he's been very good. Not only has he's our... Listen. He's our top goal scorer in 2025. Mental. He's not even like an attacking fullback. He's just, maybe it's credit to Maresca. Maresca's putting him in a position to score goals because he sees him as a goal scorer. Who saw that? Fair play. I mean, that is definitely like a feather in Maresca's cap. You know, seeing something in a player that no one else can see and getting it out of them. And yeah, no one's picking him up at certain positions and he's scoring goals. So, you know, credit to Maresca for getting that out of him, but credit to Cucurella. Absolutely deserves his flowers for turning it around at Chelsea, and he's one of our most important players. I think he was probably second to Caicedo for the Player of the Season awards. I imagine he was. And we move. All right. So, first of all, yes, let's just quickly say it. Dean Howson's been announced by Real Madrid. They got him. I did say, even when we were being linked, should Real Madrid come in, it's curtains for us because he's a Spanish international, who's featured for the national team. It's Real Madrid, and yes, if they came in, he always sort of made kissy faces at them. I said, as soon as they come in seriously, it's curtains for Liverpool, Arsenal, and Chelsea. They've come in seriously. They've triggered the release clause, which I think all of Chelsea, Liverpool, and Arsenal were prepared to do with all that Premier League money. They were like, yeah, no issues, definitely good value. But Real Madrid, as soon as they did it, he was like, yep, then please. You know, in whatever, Hablo Español. Sí. And he's gone. So yeah, fair enough. Mark Guehi it is, hopefully. so entitled, isn't it? Like, Palace, who by the way are playing an FA Cup final today. And I will be reacting on the second channel, Football Yannick. I do multiple daily uploads on that. Link in top of the description should you want to support that channel too. But yeah, it's so entitled, like, we'll just take Mark Guehi. But I'd love to get Mark Guehi. Of course, he's in the last 12 months of his contract this summer, and he's a leader. He's a good centre-back. I'd love him, personally. He'd obviously offer more leadership than Dean Howson, despite maybe not being as a cultured footballer. Right, so the run-in, eh? This is OPTA. An OPTA graphic for you. And they've called it, rather suitably, the run-in. Now, Arsenal, apparently 99.8% chance of qualifying for the top 5. They've got 2 games left. They could lose to Newcastle, and then they got Southampton. I think if they lose to both, there's a chance that they finish 6th, but I think there have to be other permutations. It would be very fun, very, very funny, but it's not going to happen. Similarly, Newcastle are in. I think the top 3 are locked, and the 4th and 5th is all to play for. Now, rather positively, OPTA are generating us as a 60% chance of qualifying. Basically 11% chance more than the Villa. Obviously, all we got to do is beat Forest, and we've got 100% chance. We're in. We stay at 4th, I believe, if we beat Forest. There is a world where I think we can do it by drawing. I think Villa would have to lose to Man United away the final day, and Man City would have to just take. Would they? Or could we get pushed down to 5th? I don't know. I think there's a little bit of wiggle room, but ultimately we don't. And we don't want to rely on anyone else. Basically, of course, I think if Forest somehow lose as well to West Ham, yeah, then they'll be screwed because they can't do it. So yeah, there are a few things to consider, but I do think it's just beat Forest. It's beat Forest, and I want to speak about that next actually, because this isn't a match preview, but what it is a discussion. But also, well actually, I'll wait for a moment for the kids. It's a discussion on striker, because I love Tariq George. He's an amazing young player. He rightly won Academy Player of the Season. You know, it could have been Joshua Champong, who's also been excellent and relied upon. But Tariq's been relied upon more in the higher profile games. He's not a striker. I have, again, a little bit of sympathy for Maresca in terms of playing him. Sorry, guys, I'm bringing the square head up again to try and find some focus, baby. Is it focus there? Square head, Jan. Can you take me seriously when I look like this? Tariq, it's going to go any second now. There we go. Tariq George, I think maybe genuinely because he's a bit taller than Pedro Neto, he played him down the middle and he thinks he can run. But bless him, watching him try and jump for headers. It's not even like Harry Maguire was bullying him. He was just timing them wrong. He's maybe in central positions he can finish. That's why he did it. But fortunately, we got away from that United game. We got the win. And hopefully we learned that we cannot play Tariq George as a striker. Real Betis might be different. We're not going to be coming up against a back three Harry Maguire. Betis don't play a back three, do they? It will be a different game. It will be more of a European game anyway. Not as fast and furious. I think we got to find a different solution. Maybe a strikerless system. Like maybe a strikerless system where you play like a type of 4-4-2, genuinely, with no inverting, with like Reece James playing as like a right back, and then like the front two is like Neto and Palmer. Do you know what I mean? Like playing between the lines. Because we can't try and use Tariq George as a focal point. It simply won't work. He's a great player, and I feel like he could have done more than Noni in that game at left wing, and we should have moved Noni to right wing and Pedro as a striker. It doesn't matter. We won the game. Hindsight's 2020. But I'd be very, very concerned if we play Tariq George there again, because not only is it a wasted position, it's wasting him as well, and him coming up against those big burly Forest centre backs. It's just like he's going to get no change of them, especially away from home. So. Alright, so new kits. Obviously, we've seen long sleeves as well. I really like it, to be fair. I've said it before, we don't have to go into it. They've released the first kit and the goalkeeper kit. They are yet to release the second kit, the away kit, which is probably the one I'll buy with the lines down. I really do like that, personally. But yeah, it's nice. It's a nice Chelsea home kit. Like, you look at, Caicedo with the short sleeves here. I mean, it's very 1970s Chelsea with the long sleeves as well. I really like it. I think it feels proper Chelsea. It's starting off that blue as well and the understated slight pattern, and that is nice. And get a sponsor on it, and that's one of the kits the away kit looks really nice without a sponsor. But this is a kit that looks nice, but it's just sort of asking for that sponsor along the chest to like complete a kit that we win the Champions League wearing. Or do you know what I mean? Just competing again on the highest stage, looking good again, feeling more like Chelsea. And boy, we've been agonising for that feeling to return. So that would be really nice. And of course, who is it going to be? I've been speaking about the sponsors quite a lot, so I want to spend a moment on that again. It's big business here because, of course, they are trying, Chelsea, to negotiate a long-term sponsor that not only will they sign for a multi-year deal, that will be representing in the Club World Cup. So Chelsea want to approach the new sponsor and say, hey, we're on the up. We're, touch wood, in the Champions League, the biggest stage, wearing your brand, your company. Club World Cup, which is going to be watched by a lot of people, coming up against Real Madrid, freaking, I don't know, Boca Juniors, Al Hilal, whatever, the whole world, Palmeiras, the whole world will be watching the Club World Cup, and you can have that in this deal. It will be implemented in this deal. So let's make this 5-year deal 60 million a year. Like the old 3 deal we had back when, we were very competitive. They'll be looking for that, and it'll be really important. Of course, we've spoken, what are the big names? Mercedes-Benz I've spoken about. I think I referenced it yesterday. There was a meeting earlier this year, or the end of last year with Mercedes-Benz. That will be quite a good looking one. Of course, Qatar Airwaves, Airways, not Airwaves, that's a chewing gum. And yeah, I wanted to reference what Ben Jacobs said on the Londoners Blue podcast, that they haven't actually written off Demac, our current temporary sponsor, being a continued partnership with Chelsea. Whether that would be like in some perhaps not so high profile capacity, like maybe like a training kit, although I think Bing X will continue, maybe a sleeve sponsor, but Demac, this big Dubai company, I think they've probably got a little bit of money. And And I wouldn't be surprised at all if they're like, yeah, you know what, even if like, you know, like maybe if Chelsea just miss out on Champions League, let's not think about it. But maybe they're like, all right, Demac, can you do 45 million a year, 50 million a year for, let's just get a long-term deal on the table. We'll be back in the Champions League soon. You can see we're going to get a striker. Do you know what I mean? Let's get the deal over the line. And although I didn't like the Demac on the current away kit, I think it made us look, I think I said like a sort of a Russian Premier League team with that. It just had that look of it, like a sort of Gazprom with that kind of kit. It didn't look very Chelsea to me. But I don't mind how it looks on the blue kit, and it might look good than the next kits. And maybe there's a deal to be continued there. So don't rule out Demac doing a continued long-term partnership with the Chelsea. Right, gang. Let me know what you think, please. Comment down below. Who would you like Chelsea to be sponsored with? Like, realistically, don't just say, like I used to say, Nintendo or whatever. Do you like Mercedes-Benz? Do you reckon there's an airline or Demac? Would you like to continue with Demac? Feel free to comment on all the other stuff I've spoken about in the video. Cucurella, the strikerless system, the OPTA run-in percentage, all that luck. Let me know in the comment section below. Now you've reached the end of the video, why don't you check out Football Yannick, the sister channel, by clicking the link in the top of the description, or alternatively, if you're watching on a phone, TV, tablet, or whatever, just search Football Yannick. Alright guys, I hope to see you back here soon. Peace.